Hello, everybody. Welcome to Wellness Wednesday. Today, we'll continue our journey on pulse listening. And last week, we listened to our pulses, listening to the right side and the left side, and listening to chest, waist, and hip line. So, just for a little review, we're going to just practice on ourselves right now. So, I'm inviting you to practice along. And take your index finger, place it right on the bone, slide off it, and then move your finger up against it. And then place your middle and ring finger next to it on the same line. So not one finger is sticking out, but they're all nice and even. And we're going to listen superficial and deep, superficial and deep. And then just take a note of what you feel, the loudness of it, if they're very quiet, and if you feel chest line, waistline, or hip line mostly. And then as you're holding, you already may feel some transformation, so that's wonderful. The Shin is already beginning to do its magic. So take a breath here, observing the quality of the pulse, and if you feel chest line, waistline, or hip line. The superficial pulse tells us about the exhale, the energy locations on the front of the body, and the deep pulse tells us about the inhale, the locations on the back of the body, and that's what we're going to build on today. I'm inviting you to just listen to the other side briefly. Again, superficial and deep, and then observe the difference between right and left side. So if you feel you really cannot hear which side is louder, then another way to listen, and this is one of Pamela Markarian Smith's ways of listening, is to just place your fingers like this. And then you can feel both right and left at the same time and feel just which side is more in need. So, you will have your preference, which you prefer. Of course, we don't exactly get the same reading with the chest, waist, and hip line because our fingers are the other way around. So I like to do it this way, but you can choose what feels more comfortable for you. So today we're going to listen to whether we feel 13, 14, and 15, or 10, 9, and 2. And all these locations are here in the core, and they are also in the Art of Shin, which most of you will have. We're going to listen to these locations. So again, place your fingertips on the pulse, like here. And what you feel with your index finger superficial is SEL13, and SEL13 is located right here at the chest. When you place your middle finger, you will feel SEL14, which is placed right here at the base of the ribs. And what you will feel with your ring finger is you will feel the 15 area, which is in the groin on the upper thigh. So SEL13, 14, and 15. So just observe what's going on there. Take a breath here. Don't try too hard. Just let it come to you. Let the information come to your fingertips. So superficial, again, we feel SEL13, 14, and 15. So just take a note now, which one you feel most of all. Is it your chest line? Is it your waistline? Or is it your hip line? And then let's feel the other side. If it's the same, it may be different. It may be that you feel SEL13 on one side and SEL14 on the other side. So again, find a bone, slide off it and move back up against it, placing your fingers together. If you feel just superficial now, so touching very lightly. This is deep, just for you to see the difference. Deep, superficial. You kind of roll off to go deep. So now we're just listening superficial. We're listening to SEL13, chest line, SEL14, waistline, and SEL15, hip line. Okay. Very good. So if you feel mostly 13, then place your hands here on the chest. If you feel mostly 14, place your hands on the waistline, on the SEL's 14. And if you feel mostly hip line, then place your hands on the 15 in the groin area. When you are in doubt, I'm inviting you to place your hands on the 14. And then, so choose one of the three, and then the one that speaks to you the most. And then place your hands there, and then let's just take 3 breaths here. 14, when in doubt, 14 is always a good place to start because it allows for the energy to go up so that it can descend. Because it's in the middle, if you are stuck here in the chest line, sometimes the energy cannot descend and then you're stuck here. So it's good to clear all of them, chest line, waistline, and hip line. So in effect, again, you can never go wrong, but just for today's practice, just go to what you felt in your pulses. Okay, very good. So after you've held it for a few moments, then just go back to your pulse and see if it has changed. Just tune in quickly, in and out. We don't have to analyze it or stay with it for a long time. You can really feel it fairly quickly. I usually go in and out, in and out. So, very nice, good. So I hope that you feel a change already just by practicing listening to the pulses and also by just holding one simple hold. And now let's look at the deep pulses. We're gonna feel the 10, 9, and 2. So we're gonna feel this one. 10, 9, and 2. That's what we're gonna feel in the pulse. So with our index finger, we're gonna feel the 10. So now we're going to go deep, right? So superficial we just listened to, 13, 14, 15, and then we're going to roll in deep. With the index finger, we're listening to 10. With the middle finger, we're listening to 9. And with the ring finger, we're listening to SEL 2. So just take a note and see if it corresponds with what you felt superficially. If you felt a lot of chest line, do you feel that also on the deeper pulse? You may not, because they all also represent different organ flows, which we will look at the next time. But it gives you a general idea. Do you maybe need help at the 13 on the front of the body and at the hip line on the back of the body? That's very possible because it's always this movement of energy down the front and up the back going on. So it's possible that you have a 13 need and a 2 need at the same time. And that's why we're always harmonizing between chest line, waistline, and hip line. All right, so let's take another check here. If you feel 10, 9, or 2, making sure you're breathing, and then checking the other side. If you feel deep 10, 9, and 2. Okay, very good. So a very good hold to practice, and I'm inviting you to practice along, and then we're going to go back to listen to the pulse, is placing one hand over your shoulder and one hand on the 15, helping all the safety and energy locations down the front. So here you're helping 13, 14, and 15, chest line, waistline, and hip line. So when the energy is able to go down, when we are able to let go and exhale, we can also inhale and receive. So it also helps the 10, 9, 2. So just by holding this, you're helping all the locations on the front of the body, and that will automatically also help the locations on the back of the body. So I hope that's beginning to make sense for you. When we exhale, when we let go, we are able to inhale and receive. It's always the cycle of down the front, energy down the front and up the back, clearing the safety energy locations on the front and the back of the body. Very nice. And now let's place our hand on the sits bone. allowing for us to inhale and receive, helping the locations on the back, allowing for the energy to move up the back so it can descend. So by just holding 11 and 15 and 11 and 25, we're helping all of the locations in our body. Let's take one more breath here. Doesn't that feel good? Yeah. And then let's go back to listening to our pulse just one more time. Listening to having the bone, slide off the bone, move up back against it, placing the 3 fingers together, and then listening superficial and deep. Then the other side. Placing the fingers together, superficial and deep. Yes, so I hope that they really feel different by now. And I invite you to really practice always on yourself. Practice before. Just listen to your pulses before you give yourself a flow and then check back in. That's how we're going to learn. The pulses are the secrets of the universe. They really tell us everything we need to know. So don't be intimidated by it. Just practice, listen, explore, and have fun with them. See you all next week.